Welcome to Noble Teachings, the story of the power of the cutting bullet. Man has not yet cut off the size of the injury or the dimensions of what he commanded and what he wanted for the universe. In this short episode, we will discuss the biography of the Prophet Muhammad. May God bless him and grant him peace in a simplified definition for those who do not know him. I am, of course, unable to describe what I feel. I am writing about a person of this magnitude. He is a prophet of God to mankind. He came from solid Arab human beings, a descendant of the prophets, Honor, the son of Honor of noble origin. Like him, I intend to choose only heroes in this channel, limiting myself to mentioning their notable ones briefly. But it was not specified that you find a hero. Ask for it, so it is first place. Except the maker of heroes, the great, the truthful, the brave, the merciful, the hero, the compassionate, supportive fighter who ransomed his family, his nation, and his companions with his own person to save them from worshiping idols that do no harm or benefit, to worshiping God alone, with no partner, God the Almighty, the Creator, the Mighty, the Powerful, the great God, to whom nothing is similar and nothing can do. Nothing on his land except with his permission, and as a test for us, creating reasons and relying on them, while making our lack of reliance on him a cause for failure, and without taking the necessary steps, leads to a disastrous failure. Today we will discuss something simple about our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and if you wish, we can create parts and sections of his biography, but we will never do justice to his reward. The beginning of his story is his name, which is of noble lineage and well known. This has been the custom of the Arabs since ancient times. There is no one among them who does not know his father, or who comes from illegitimacy, or is an abandoned child. The Arabs preserved their morals, origins, honor, and traditions, and they were like this even before our Prophet Muhammad brought the final message of Islam. Yes, Islam is broader and more comprehensive. It is the name that our Prophet Ibrahim called us by, as mentioned in the noble verse. The religion of your father Ibrahim, he named you Muslims. All the scriptures, whether the Torah or the Gospel, are merely heavenly books that were revealed to call the servants to God, to Islam, and to monotheism. However, many of the previous scriptures have been distorted and corrupted by some of the devils among humans and jinn. We apologize for this lengthy explanation, but the greatness of Islam cannot be reduced to just a few letters, and the beauty of the Arabic language, with its expressions, is unparalleled and cannot be adequately explained in English. Therefore, we will begin with his name. Peace be upon him. His name is Abu al-Qasim Muhammad ibn Abdullah ibn Abdul Muttalib ibn Hashim ibn Abdul Manaf ibn Qusay ibn Kilab ibn Murrah ibn Ka'b ibn Lu'ayy ibn Ghalib ibn Fihr ibn Malik ibn al-Nadr ibn Kinana ibn Khuzaymah ibn Mudrika ibn Ilyas ibn Mudar ibn Nizar ibn Ma'ad ibn Adnan. And there is a lineage that traces back to our master Ismail, son of our master Prophet Ibrahim. Peace be upon them and all the prophets. His birth. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was born an orphan on Monday, the 12th of Rabi al-Awwal, in the year of the elephant. Among these events was that the wet nurse was in distress and took him reluctantly because he was an orphan, hoping for kindness from his family, and he was the only one left. She took him while enduring severe poverty, and her animals were weak and emaciated. Yet after taking him, her weak donkey began to outpace all the other donkeys of their owners, and her breasts filled with milk so that she nursed both him and her own child, which was unusual. Her ewe became full of milk, so much so that both she and her husband were satisfied. Her husband noticed and said to her, "By God, you have taken a blessed soul," referring to our Prophet Muhammad. When he turned 6 years old, his mother passed away, and his father had died before he was born, so he became an orphan. His grandfather, Abdul Muttalib, took him in. At the age of 8, his grandfather, Abdul Muttalib, took him in. At the age of 8, his grandfather, Abdul Muttalib, passed away, and his uncle, Abu Talib, took him under his care. When he reached the age of 12, he traveled with his uncle on a trade journey to the Levant, which includes Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, and Palestine today, near Iraq. A monk approached him, took his hand, and said, "This is the master of the worlds," and began to list reasons and signs of prophethood. However, they did not take him seriously until they parted ways. When he turned 25, he married his first wife, Mrs. Khadija. When he reached the age of 35, the Quraysh tribe disagreed on who should place the black stone in the Kaaba. They turned to him for judgment, recognizing his wisdom, fairness, strength, and nobility. He ordered them to use a large piece of cloth. One of the tribes took one end of it and the other end, and the stone was inside the cloth. The prophet, may God bless him and grant him peace, lifted it and placed it with them in its place, and this stone is still in its place until now. When he reached 38, the people in Jinn spoke about an upcoming prophecy, so the fortune tellers were frightened and the astrologers were predicting until he wanted to sit alone in the cave. On this basis, he would see the dream and it would come true exactly as he saw it until he saw the first signs of prophecy and the first angel, which was our master Gabriel. Until he became very tired and was sweating in the severe cold, until he called the people to Islam. So his family and those with them harmed him and tortured those who were with him until the light of Islam mixed with some of the people of Quraysh, and they embraced Islam. The number of Muslims increased, so he migrated to Medina until he returned to Mecca as a conqueror and saved its people from the oppression of the oppressors, and spread the good morals and commanded them with what his Lord commanded him to do, and forbade them from what his Lord forbade him from, of oppression, injustice, and immorality. He fought battles and battles in order to lift oppression from the weak and the oppressed. Justice and prosperity prevailed, and his companions began to share their affairs, bread and money among themselves. This is after a great summary of honorable positions, precise thinking, wise management, and deadly courage. Despite all this, he did not seek refuge in his soldiers or companions. One of the companions used to say that whenever the battle intensified, we sought refuge in the messenger of God. He suffered hardships and difficulties, and his wife and son died. This is a small, indefinite part of his life and actions. May God bless him and grant him peace. And so on until he passed away. May God bless him and grant him peace, and left behind a strong nation that was born in his hands and in his hands. A strong nation that gets sick but does not die. He was able to be a role model for them and an older brother, not just a prophet. Sorry for the length, but this is our prophet whom we love and whose teachings we follow. The source of this episode is the book Al-Aghsan al-Nadiyah, for explaining the biography of the prophet, by Sheikh Wahid Abdulsalam Bali. We thank you for following us. Subscribe for more and follow us on YouTube. Thank you for your time.